Hey, Tep, sisters and brothers, welcome to the house of divinity. I am Professor R.T. Bates, or Proof B for short. Welcome. So, I just wanted to make this video. I know I keep repeating the same thing. I'm getting used to making videos as opposed to talking to real people or face to face. So at, I don't know, it's 68, I'm almost 68. Is that middle age or did I pass middle age already? But anyway, I'm starting from scratch. I moved from the East Coast over here to the West Coast in California, and I didn't bring students with me. So after a few years here, I have developed a Kung Fu system, a self-healing system, Those things I will be teaching on the other side of the room, and they are all based on what's called the Tao. Now, on this side of the room, you may have noticed, is Egyptian theme. Not only is it Egyptian themed, but on this side of the room, I intend to teach so-called African Americans the spiritual system that we should be learning now, and I'm going to have to explain all that. But I say African Americans specifically because as a group of people on the planet Earth, we as a group, African American, have specific problems. Unlike Africans, unlike Jamaicans, unlike people from the Caribbean, etc. So, what I want to do with the training here is address some of those specific problems that so-called African Americans have. This is not for anybody else. The Kung Fu and the Tao and all that stuff I'm teaching over there, anybody can get into that. Now, this is on video. Anybody can learn about it, but it's about us. So, one thing I'm going to be talking about on this side of the room is the Hemp Nation Builders Lodge. Hemp Nation Builders Lodge. That's one of the titles of this space. It's the Hemp Nation Builders Lodge. What does that mean? Well, hemp stands for helping empower melaninated peoples. See, in the house of divinity, we say peoples. And then I already told you what this means, Nation Builders Lodge. So you might be like, why y'all black peoples need a nation? I'll get into that later. But on this video, I basically just wanted to talk about some of my, what we call Montu. See, we don't say martial art. That's what's martial? I think that's Roman, like Mars, the god of war. So that's the idea they were trying to get across. But we had a deity that was over war, and he was a Montu. We had a few deities that was over war. But we say Montu, which is martial arts. So the martial arts I will be teaching whoever comes to this part of the temple, the house temple. That's what you're gonna learn. Our stuff that's related to the way we move. Again, over there, I'm going to be doing Kung Fu, and I'm not going to be doing it Chinese style. We're going to be doing our movement and everything too, but it's just a little different. Like over there, I'm going to get into the I Ching and how it's connected to DNA, etc., etc., etc. But over here, we're going to get into the melanin. Like the video I posted yesterday, I showed my book. I just got to get it together. And it's going to teach you about the different attributes and activities of melanin, the stuff that makes us black. So me, I was born, no. So when I say Montu or martial arts, my background started way back when I was about 4 years old. Because, we moved to the Bronx about when I was 5, 6. So by the time I was 4, 5, my grandmother had retired. So pretty much out of my brothers and sisters, I probably was pretty much the only one that really, and she lived, for the year that I lived with my father, she lived right across the street from us. Like I'm going to grandma's house. Believe me, it was a relief to be able to have somewhere else to go. Anyways, my grandmother is from Charleston, South Carolina. And back in the day when she was a young lady, she learned a style of fighting that was part of our way, black Americans, or African Americans, whatever we are now, Negroes. Anyway, she learned a style or a way of fighting. It wasn't a whole style, it was just basically a way. And actually, when I do my research, you find that this way did come out of a style. I'll get into all that. But her way of fighting was called kicking and knocking. Very simple, like the ABCs of martial art. Kick them in the knee them in the groin, knock them with your head. Bam! Now, I'm going to tell you a secret of kicking and knocking. The word knocking actually meant like knocking. Like, find something right now and act like you're knocking on somebody's door to get in or to bring them out. Now, most of you, there's some people that bang on your door like that, but most of you probably made this fist, and that's how people knock on the door. And that's how we knock you upside your head with these knuckles across here. Bow, bow. Kick you in the knee you in the groin, knock you in the head. So you had headbutts and you had knocking with these knuckles here like you knock on the door. It was like an automatic fist. Bow. And then they had weapons like switchblades and all that stuff back then. Now, before kicking and knocking, what I have learned studying my own history is that because my grandmother is called Geechee. These are the people who moved from the Sea Islands in South Carolina. Did I say North Carolina? She's from South Carolina, Charleston. I don't know what I said before, but she's from Charleston, South Carolina. Now, them Sea Islands all down there is where the first slaves from Angola came or was brought to. You understand? And then those people who moved to the land, to South Carolina, the land, became Geechee, which meant we moved to the land. So now it's Gula Geechee. They have their own nature. They're trying to keep their land. A whole lot going on with that side of the family. Now that you know that it's the same slaves that populated the Carolinas and down south that were brought to Cuba, that were brought to the Caribbean. At first, it was mostly Angolans, and then they start bringing other Africans later. But the Angolans was especially prized because they planted rice. They were great farmers of rice. So when you go to the store and buy Carolina rice, just think that slavery, what they call slavery, the commercial slavery did not start with cotton. It started with rice. Anyways, so most of us know about the capoeira, the fighting styles of the Brazilians. Now, what you may or may not know is that style of fighting is Angolan. What makes it Brazilian is that, they added all the dance movements and all the high flips and all that type of stuff. In Angola, the actual style is really close to the ground and you don't do all that flipping and stuff. And why am I saying that? Because as I said already, the same people that were brought to Brazil were also brought to Cuba. And if you go to Cuba, they have a fighting style, Mambi. Now, if you come back here to America, we had a really specific, again, African American were brought up with a very restrictive and specific type of slavery. People wasn't dancing and shit. We was in the first slaves were in cages. You didn't get out of that cage until you was needed to work. There wasn't no building, like wood buildings that everybody lived in on top of each other. No, you was in a cage. So this was the worst slavery out of all other slaveries. In the Caribbean, they gave them machetes. It's like, okay, in Cuba, y'all gave us machetes because their thing was sugarcane, not rice, where you had to bend over and put the rice in the ground from sun not shining in the morning to sun go down at night. So now a lot of warriors that were stolen or kidnapped out of Angola and the rest of Africa kept their fighting system. But again, if you check it out right now, you go to the Caribbean, you go to Jamaica, it's all, you can see the synergy, you can see the relationship. But like I said, Brazil, they flipping and doing high jumps, but most of the other ones who kind of kept it together in Jamaica and other parts of the Caribbean, they pretty much keep low to the ground like the original Angolan fighting styles. So we also had that here in America. And I've posted videos before of dance, because what our fighting became entertainment and dance over here. So I've posted videos of the Charleston, like where my grandmother's from, and one specific video, that's an old video that's out, is the I can't think of their name right now, but they're doing kicks and flips, and I'm like, whoa, there go the martial art right there. So the other thing that was going on was in America, especially after so-called slavery, was the jail system. There was no jails before a certain time. So in the jail system, you might have gone from living in space to being in a space. Like I'm in an apartment right now. An apartment is called a cell. I have more space than a jail cell here, but it's still a cell. Your consciousness, as opposed to being able to expand, is like this. Anyways, I got way off the subject. The subject is my background in Montu arts. So I learned kicking, not kicking, that's how they talk out here, kicking and knocking. Kicking, that's how we talk in New York. Kicking and knocking, I got from my grandmother. Then my mother got a place in the Bronx, New York, and came and got me and my brother, and I grew up there. There, we started a gang called the Black Assassins, and a lot of the young brothers at the time who were going back and forth to Rikers Island and to other prisons, they all would come back from the different prisons, and they were teaching what was called jailhouse rock. Today it's called 52 blocks. They're trying to make it a style now. But jailhouse rock was a different kind of way of street fighting. And I knew brothers that was bad, like bad with it. You understand? Now, the thing about New York, again, being fortunate, the thing about New York was that there wasn't different styles of jailhouse rock, but there were different techniques according to what prison you went to. Like Rikers Island was, I think, like the holding prison, but people went to, again, I can't think of the names right now, upstate New York. They went to different prisons around the state, and each one had a different way of using jailhouse rock. Comstock, I think that's where my brother went. Comstock, I believe it was Comstock where the walls are really close, so they developed a thing of rolling on the wall with their back and then coming off, pushing off the wall with their back as they throw the punch. Whereas places that had a little more space, they, developed something a little different. Now, when it came, all these different techniques all met at Rikers Island, because most of these guys that was from New York that went to these different prisons, when they came home, they came back to New York, or they all met at Rikers Island, and a lot of these techniques, were put into the New York style. Now, the New York style was the pretty boy. This is when you get so bad that you can smack somebody up and hit them in the foot, hit them upside the head before they even. I've seen it. I put my hands up against Shorty Dog. Crazy ass boy. I didn't even know how to fight. I put my hands up, the dude was behind me and down. I'm like, what the fuck? Where he go? He could have fucked me up. And right now, I always do these videos impromptu, so I can't think of nobody's name. But we had a couple of guys in the gangs, and they all had their own different way of doing 52. So after 52 is when I went into the Marine, or after the gangs and learning 52 and all that, that's when I went into the Marine Corps. Excuse me. So in the Marine Corps, you didn't learn how to fight. People think, oh, you're a Marine, you know how to fight. No. That's not what they taught me. They taught me how to take a knife and stab you in the back of or cut your throat, or shoot you from a mile away up in a tree. No. Now, you can learn how to fight. Marine Corps had its own Marine Corps. They change up now. One time they doing jiu-jitsu, another time they doing this, another time they doing, Jeet Kune Do. So there's not a Marine Corps fighting method. They do what is like everybody else. What the fighting style is whatever's popular at the time. After Marine Corps is when I started to study Tai Chi Chuan. Tai Chi Chuan. Tai, grand, or the biggest, or the most important. Chi, force, energy, life force. Chuan, fist, or boxing. Now, the Tai Chi Chuan that they do mostly in America now has taken out the fighting part. God dang nabbit, I just went somewhere again where I wasn't supposed to go. Forget about the Tai Chi part, I'm going to talk about that over there. Where I was supposed to go, now on this side I want to combine what I learned from kicking and knocking, 52, and even some kung fu, the breathing exercises and all that type of stuff. And we gonna have our own melaninated Montu martial arts. The spatula foundation will be the Medu Nectar, or the Kemetic Tree of Life. Not my doing. Ancient Kemetic, or ancient Egyptian spirituality. So, I went into a whole bunch of places I didn't want to go, but I think I got most of it out. I just wanted to really just say that on this side of the room, we're going to be doing black stuff. And on that side of the room, anybody, I even taught a Chinese girl one time back in the college where I was, back in Bronx, I'm back in the Manhattan Community College. I'm like, you Chinese, you don't know this stuff? I taught her regular, they just learned the regular Tai Chi. I'm like, oh shit. Even Chinese don't know this stuff. It's a misnomer to say that all Chinese know Kung Fu. And with that, I'm not going to talk about nothing else. I'm going to say, peace.